everybody. You're still keeping it locked here in your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're chatting all things about the release of the latest James Bond film, No Time to Die today. And now we are focusing on actor Daniel Craig and his wife, actress Rachel Weisz, who gave birth to the child at the age of 48. Now, many other famous people, including celebrity photographer Annie Leibovitz, model Iman, and recently model Naomi Campbell, have all had children after the age of 45.
That's incredible. Now, pregnancies in people over the age of 35 are also known as geriatric pregnancies, and there are many risks involved. And here to chat us through these concerns is gynecologist Dr Kim Sonntag. Good morning. It's so great to have you here, doctor.
Thank you.
Well, a very interesting conversation, because in my mind, 35 is around the corner, and it's hard to think that people or women that are pregnant after the age of 35 is considered a geriatric pregnancy. How come the age 35? What happens to a woman's eggs when she turns 35 and older?
So from the age of 35, we have found that the quality of the eggs is not as good as under the age of 35. So there's more risk of abnormalities, perhaps with the pregnancy. A woman is born with all of her eggs, or as a baby, so the eggs will then be 35 and older as she gets older. So the quality is not so good, which means the increased risk of miscarriage and of not having a live baby at the end of the day just increases.
And I'm sure many women would want to carry their own baby, but at what point would you then step in and say, you know, women should now start considering other treatments like IVF as an option?
So a couple would usually try and fall pregnant on their own for, say, 3 to 6 months, and then if that isn't working, then go and see somebody and have some tests done, usually a fertility specialist, and then see what the options are, where the problem lies. Maybe they don't even need IVF, and then IVF is further down the line.
It is quite expensive, and medical aid doesn't cover IVF, so that is a big step to take when you are going to be considering that route, right?
Yes. So, Dr. Kim, I wanted to know from you, you know, for the like you mentioned, you know, the quality of a woman's egg after the age of 35 is not the same as if she was younger. So, women can still fall pregnant after 35. It still happens spontaneously. What is the difference for a man over the age of 35 to impregnate a woman? Does that carry the same type of risks?
No, not at all. So sperm is continuously made and regenerated, so the age doesn't come into effect like it does for women. So no, that's not really a consideration. And a man can father a child, you know, up until quite late in their life.
Till 60, 65, yeah. Maybe Daniel Craig will maybe now have a new child after the final shooting of the movie. But we spoke about IVF as a possible treatment. Let's talk about surrogacy. We're seeing this a lot, especially in Hollywood. Naomi Campbell has done it. Kim Kardashian has done it. When would you suggest, you know, a couple start looking at that route of having a baby?
So surrogacy is an option if you are not able to carry the pregnancy yourself or to be pregnant, whether you have a medical condition that prevents you from being pregnant, or that it would be harmful to your body to carry a baby for 9 months. So that would be the option. And I think in Hollywood, it's probably a lot of women that are not wanting to be pregnant themselves comes into it as well.
Is surrogacy quite a big thing in South Africa? I know overseas it's a little bit more on the popular side, but is that something families do here?
Surrogacy is definitely available in South Africa. There are agencies that would do surrogacy, but it is quite expensive, so you have to look into what your finances are and if it's something that is viable for you.
Often when you're young, you don't plan of when you're going to have the child, but there are options of freezing the eggs. Again, when do you start thinking about that process? Because maybe you want kids, you know that you definitely want kids at a later stage in your life, but you're not ready right now. And so maybe the thought comes in when you're after 35. So when, again, do we go through the route of freezing your eggs?
I think freezing your eggs is an excellent idea because it just gives you that little bit more time. Maybe you want to focus on your career, maybe you're not in the right place or in the right relationship. It is recommended to freeze your eggs then under the age of 35, so to have those better quality eggs, but you can definitely do it afterwards as well.
I was about to ask you, when's the ideal time to freeze your eggs? Because my mom phoned me a few years ago and be like, she read this article and she feels like I must maybe consider freezing my eggs, then they'll forever be 25. Obviously, I didn't do it, but it is something I would consider going forward. So you would say under the age of 35 is the right time to do it?
Yes, but if you are 36 or 37, you can also freeze your eggs. It also depends on how many eggs you can produce, what quality they are. It's different in each scenario.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Kim, we are, I have quite a few friends that are now at that stage where they want to start families. Some of them are struggling. In terms of women that are struggling right now and perhaps feeling a little bit hopeless in the situation, do you have some words of encouragement or just something you can say to them to not lose hope?
I think for all women who are struggling, infertility is something that is very prevalent. I think talking about it helps. A lot of people don't talk about it. Also, recurrent miscarriages, things like that. But there is always something that can be done, whether it is helping you to ovulate or having a small procedure, a reason why you aren't falling pregnant, using maybe a donor egg or sperm, then later on IVF, a surrogate, and then even adoption. There is always a way that you can have a baby. So really, hope is not lost. But also, I would just say to women that to not only look at what celebrities are doing, because to have a child at 48 or over 50 is not completely normal, and there are a lot of risks involved as well.
Okay, well, Dr. Kim's not going anywhere. Thank you for joining us. If you're wondering why we were having this conversation, it is a complete bond takeover, and we were inspired by Daniel Craig and his wife, who had a baby at the age of 48, and that's why we were talking about pregnancies for women over the age of 35. Well, don't go anywhere. We still have a lot coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.